Welcome back to Dead Good Book Reviews. I'm Judith and you're watching another What I'm Reading Right Now video. This is the 8th week of 2022 and there's a lot happening. I'm filming this on Thursday the 24th and I'm desperately clinging to normalcy because if I keep watching the news, I'm going to have an explosion of emotions that I don't want to have right now. So we're making this video. If I seem a bit chaotic or a bit off, that's why. There's a lot going on. But I have had a pretty good reading week, which feels like a bizarre segue. Anyway, I read a bunch of stuff. Let's talk about it because there are always books. I finished Bunker Iroha by A.M. Macklemore. I actually really enjoyed this. This was a reread. I had a great time with it. I think what I like most about this one is the sibling relationship in it because we've not... you have cousinly relationships in Wild Beauty, but the sisterhood of this book is really good. I think it's a really great modern fairy tale. I very much enjoyed it. I had a good time. Yes, more thoughts when I finally close out that project. After that, I finished Warrior of the Wild by Trisha Levenseller. This was also a reread for an upcoming Overbooked video. It's a pretty standard YA story. We have this female character who wants to become a warrior, who gets on well with her dad, but kind of in a not so healthy way, and her mum's a bit trash, and then various circumstances, she gets sent out into the wild. Her mission to kill a god. How can she do this? I think there are elements of this book that are very clever. The actual story is, fine. The writing is accessible, fine. Nothing about it, utterly blew me away, but I had a good time with it. It's one that I think I would pick up again if I just needed, I need to finish a whole book in an evening to feel good. I just want a story that's nice and easy. This might be something I would pick up. After that, I finished my audiobook, which was Vespa Team by Margaret Rogerson. I actually had a really good time with this. Similar to Warrior of the Wild, it was sort of fun. That sounds odd because a lot of it is about death and trauma and not nice things, but Margaret Rogerson writes really readable books. I think that's what it was. And do I want a nun fighting the undead? Yes. Yes, I want that. This young nun. Oh, she was fantastic. I really liked a lot of elements of the story. I really liked the characterization. I'd recommend reading it. If you like that kind of YA tone, if you read the description of it and you're like, that sounds like something I would want, I would say go for it. It was sort of not to modern Sabriel, that's not what I mean, but there were elements between the two that I think you could draw comparisons with, and if I were making a review video for Vespa Team, I would be bringing up Sabriel a lot, and vice versa. I had a good time, it was a good audiobook, would recommend. Then I had a bit more of a fail, The Carnival Vale by Tom Beckerledge, unsure, but I don't think you need to know as I would not recommend this. For me personally, I found it a little bit boring. It's set in a city which really values poetry. It's set in a city called Cadenza. It's sort of a historical sort of fantasy poets. I have retained virtually none of it because I was really having to push myself to read through it and I should have DNF'd. I really should have DNF'd at 100 pages, but I kept going on the off chance that it would get good, and at no point for me did it get good. Would not recommend. But I am slightly concerned that was more about my mental reading state at the time, because I had a similar thing with Ancillary Justice. Now, I think this was much better. I really enjoyed this. What did I give this? I haven't actually rated this. Let's rate that now. I think I would give it a 3.5. A solid 3.5. I hadn't read this before. I have read another Anne Leckie book from much more recently. I think you can tell that this was a debut. That might just be me. I am reassured by my wife that they get much better in books 2 and 3, so I will be continuing the series and maybe I'll come back to book 1. It's also kind of made me think that maybe sci-fi space opera is just something that I should be doing via audiobook because I always have a much better time. More on that anon. I like this. We have this main character who is sort of part of was at one time a spaceship AI and is now on their own, and there's interesting stuff in this. There's a lot of really interesting stuff. I'll be very, very fascinated to talk more about it. Hopefully I can make that live show. Unconfirmed, but hopefully I can make that live show. I had a pretty solid time with this, but however, it was at the same time as all I wanted to do was to play Horizon Forbidden West, so maybe I did this book a disservice. I don't know. Then this week I finished The Way Spring Arrives and Other Stories, which is that anthology. I had a good time with it. There were some really good stories. There were some really good essays. I very much enjoyed the essays. R.F. Kuang has an essay in it about translation, which I found very interesting, and how that's impacted their own work. And there was another one that I thought was very cool, but it has now slipped my mind. So if it comes back, I will try and edit that in. Oh, we're going to have a visitor. I don't want a visitor right now. I'm still talking to the camera. There may now be squeaky toy, but it's probably fine. Bear with while that happens. You just have to accept the squeaky noises in the background. Yeah, you're very big and strong. Yesterday evening, I finished Dark and Deepest Red by A.M. McLemore. I actually really enjoyed this. I thought this was going to be fairly low on my list, but I had a wonderful time with this time around. Oh, now it's chew eating time next to the microphone. Do you think maybe you could go downstairs? Okay. I had a much better time with this than I was anticipating. I thought that this had a lot of really good elements to it. I liked the historical modern timeline, which I hadn't been expecting. I cried at the end. It was a good time. I really enjoyed this. More thoughts when I finish that video. I can start saying that now because that's only going to be a couple of weeks away for you now. And lastly, I finished another audiobook, which is another space opera or semi in that direction. I finished Hex Stories by Yoon Harley, which is short stories and a novella in the world of Machineries of Empire. I feel like this really cemented my understanding of the books. If you liked that series, I would recommend reading it. If you read that series and you're kind of like, I would actually recommend picking it up because I think it explained a lot for me that I was missing in the previous stuff, in the full books, and it fleshed out some characters for me in a way that I really enjoyed. I'm actually not in the middle of very many things at the moment because I've been trying to cut my TBR down a little bit, not in terms of reading the books I own, but in terms of not having quite as much planned because, as I said... Do you need some attention? Okay. Oh, there. Because I'm super busy and I would like to play more Horizon, and I can't do that if I've got loads of books to read. So I was meant to read Dune this week. It's not happening. So I am about halfway through the Atlas 6, maybe a third of the way actually, and I am having a reasonable time with it. I want to make a proper video for that because I think I have thoughts that are worth putting into a video. It's not blowing me away. It's not absolute garbage. I'm just fairly neutral on it at the moment. And I've just started another audiobook. I've started the Light... Oh, what's it called? The Light of Uncommon Stars. Light from Uncommon Stars. And so far, I'm very much enjoying it. It's a good audiobook so far. I've literally listened to maybe half an hour, and it's good. And I've heard good things about it, and I think it's going to be good, but I think maybe next week we'll talk more about that one. Coming up on my list, as I say, I have drastically reduced the number of things I'm planning on reading. I have The Mirror Season by A.M. McLemore, and I'm starting The Ruin of Kings. I want to do half of The Ruin of Kings next week, because that's what series I'm going to be starting next, so that I can read the next ones. You're very beautiful and you're being very good. And yeah, that's kind of it. I've got a lot to film and a lot to edit at the moment, including Animorphs, which is why I'm trying to not overwhelm myself because life is already quite overwhelming. I've got a sewing project on the go. My mind is just a little bit frazzled, and I don't think it would be good to also try and read Dune. I don't. I'm trying to make sensible life choices. She's being so precious. I did buy a book, which I think I will whack out now. Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry, which came up on my Twitter feed, and I was like, that looks like something I need to read. Does this not look like something I need to read? I'm so excited. I might pick that up today, because I could do with something that is a little bit cozy, and that's what I need right now. This has been a very short one because, as I say, my brain is not in the best place. But what are you up to? What have you been reading? How are you doing? I hope you're taking care of yourself, all of the above. Let me know all of those things down in the comments below. I would gesture, but I am petting a small one. While you're down there commenting, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. It makes me feel loved and appreciated. You can also follow me on social media. Come hang out on Discord where we have a wonderful time talking about books. If you would like to join my patrons over on Patreon, I have set a schedule for the first live stream for my Poltergeists tier. So if you would like to see that, I have big plans. I think it's going to be exciting. You could join that. That's all in the description as well. Right. I have to pay some more attention to this small bean. So that's all from me, and I will see you in the next one. I don't think I can lower the camera so you can see how sweet she's being, but she's been so sweet. So sweet.